Hi, welcome to this series of videos where our goal is to teach you everything you need to know to get started with agent first development with VS Code and GitHub Copilot. You may already know that writing code is changing. You can still, of course, write all your code manually, and that might be ideal for specific use cases. But there's this new pattern where we're using agents to cover everything that is part of the software development lifecycle. So in this series of videos, we're going to teach you how to kick off your first agent session, how to understand tools and context, and how to review the work that the agent is doing, how to review the changes, the different approval levels, the different reasoning effort levels, and a bunch of other things. So let's kick things off today by talking about the 5 things you need to understand for a successful experience with your agents. One thing before we kick off here is my layout for VS Code might look a little different than yours. And we're all about customization with VS Code. So I just wanted to show you quickly. You might see this view on the right and then this view on the left. If you actually click on the Explorer area, right click, you can move the primary sidebar left. So you can swap them, right? And then doing the same thing, right click, you can move the primary sidebar right. Additionally, I also have my activity bar here. If I right click in this area, activity bar position, I can set this to default and you're most likely going to see this to the side. I like having it up top, but you can move it however you'd like. And then if I move this to the left, that will also move to the left as well. So just wanted to show a couple of customization options you have and that I've also taken advantage of. The reality is that these agents are not magic. You can't just throw one at your code base without instructions, without specificities on your code base and expect it to get 100% correct to your standard, the task that you're trying to accomplish. But we can think of it sort of like a formula. There are 5 things: harness, model, context, tools, and prompts. And if you understand these 5 things, you're going to be well on your way to getting better and better results with your agents accomplishing the tasks that you want. So let's dive into the first one here. Let's talk about the harness first. I have VS Code open and GitHub Copilot chat open here on the left side. And this is our harness. This what gives the model the ability to become an agent via the model selection, via the agent mode, via the tools that we enable it. The harness, you can think of it sort of like a wiring harness in a car. The engine is what has all the power, but in order for the power to be distributed to different components, dashboard controls, etc., in your car, you need that harness, right? So similar here, we have a model and its goal is to do the reasoning, do the generation of text and code. But in order for it to do this properly, it needs access to different tools, which we can configure. It needs access to the files in your code base to better understand what it needs to work on, et cetera, et cetera. So the harness is what enables all of that, right? Taking it a step further, let's talk about the model. So with GitHub Copilot, we are all about developer choice. And of course, that includes the model options that you have. So here I have the ones that I most frequently use, but if I typed in, for example, Codex, we would have that appear there as well. And then with every model, there's also a thinking effort. So you have low, medium, and high, and this balances the speed of a response with the amount of reasoning, right? So for straightforward boilerplate formatting, any quick, simple tasks, you can use low. If you want a balanced, you can use medium. So perhaps refactoring, that's straightforward. Or if you have more of like an architectural type task, difficult debugging, you would want to set that to high there too. So what I'm going to do is click on the Sonnet model. I'll have it set to high, which also happens to be the default thinking effort there. And I'm going to paste in a prompt, which is the next part of that formula of success, right? So I'm going to go ahead and send this off. So a good prompt would include enough details where the request that you have is not vague, but also enough for the model to not get overly stuck in the weeds and details of implementation, right? Now, the prompt I sent already, I can tell that I forgot to include something. but I'm not going to edit it now. I'll save that for the next video. And what I want to instead show you is some more parts of this formula of success, right? And it is asking us for permission to run the command in our Z shell here. But what I want to do is actually expand here and talk a little bit about the tools, which is another part of our formula of success here, right? So we see here that it says created for to-dos and ran command in terminal. And also you see this little icon, which is a to-dos list icon. And then you see this little terminal command icon, right? And where this comes from is, I'm going to actually expand this a little bit so we get our tool picker, and we're going to click on this. And we see here that we have the option to configure tools, and I have 152 selected, which is probably not great. I'm going to just make sure I only have selected the ones that are ideal for this session. I don't need Azure MCP. I don't need Bicep. We can keep Context 7. I don't need Playwright. We're going to just organize this a little bit more. I don't need GitHub Copilot or Mermaid. And Python I will need. Container tools I also do not need. Okay, great. So we see that list went down to 70 tools. I don't need Tavli either, 64. Pull requests, don't need them for right now. And then Context 7. Okay, so we have 55 here. Now these are just our built-in tools. Now, all of these other ones that I had just gone through, these are things that I've either installed via extensions or MCP servers, etc. And we have videos down the line that will cover these, but we'll talk about the built-in ones. So you see that to-do icon matches this tool here, right? And then we have that little command icon or command line or terminal icon, which matches this one here. And these are built-in tools that will allow the agent to either delegate tasks to other agents, open, interact with integrated browser pages, edit files, run commands, read files, search, manage to-dos, and use vscode features and or do web searches, right? So because we have those all checked, and then you can expand to have even more granular configuration as to which tools from which category you want enabled, but I want them all for now. And the agent was able to execute those actions and tools because we have them enabled here, right? So keep that in mind when you're trying to run a specific task. Make sure you have the right tools set up there as well. Awesome. Now, the other thing that this project here is doing, or this agent action here is doing, is I'm going to actually create, or we'll let it run. So I'll click allow here. I'll talk a little bit more about this allow button and this default approvals setting in the next video. But for now, I want to talk to you a little bit about context. So we see here that the agent has read, and it read a specific directory. And by doing this, it's including that directory, whatever it found in it, into its context. We can also manually provide context to an agent or to this session particularly here, by clicking on the plus icon here, and we have a variety of ways of attaching context to our prompt. So files and folders, we have a couple of GitHub options, resources via MCP, which we will cover ahead in further videos, and a bunch of other areas as well, right? And additionally, you can use the pound symbol to provide the name of a file if you wanted to attach it as context as well. You can do that way as well. And this is important because models are trained over lots and lots of information, but it isn't an expert in any niche. So you need to provide context, files, instructions, details on your code base so the agent can have specific results for your code base and not just function off the generalist knowledge that it has. And congrats, you've just kicked off your first agent session. We covered a lot in this video. We understand what a harness is, we understand the different models and reasoning effort level options that we have. We understand how to add context, how to enable or disable tools. And then of course, we kicked off work with a prompt. Now, you can see that our agent is already asking for approval for the next command in the work it's trying to accomplish. And the next video, we're going to talk about all of the permission levels and the different ways we can allow or skip a specific command that an agent is trying to run. So stay tuned.